Hey, this is Nicky G and welcome to Better Commander. Today we're talking about Kaalia of the Vast, $100 budget deck. Kaalia was born a lowly farmer's daughter on the plane of Alara. She of course had hidden magical powers and was manipulated into foiling the archdemon Neferoc's plan to reanimate a dragon. When Neferox found out, he was like, oh snap, I'm about to go off. So he murdered everybody. And Kaalia grew some wings and started hanging out with some dangerous biker gangs at the local pool hall. She was accepted by the dragons, the demons, and the less cool rollerblade gang, the angels. Kaalia is a classic commander that got a sweet reprint in the last Double Masters and in the most recent Double Masters. The borderless version is currently going for about $65, so the most recent reprint is comparatively cheap at about $8. Let's think critically about an entry-level Kaalia deck, but before we do, consider subscribing to my channel. I have secrets of the demons, the dragons, and have totally ignored anything to do with the angels. Alright, so this is Kaalia, some say Kaalia of the Vast. It's 1 red, white, and a black for a legendary creature. It's a human cleric 2/2 with flying. Whenever Kaalia of the Vast attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. And she says, I'll have my revenge if I have to call on every force from above and below. Yes, Kaalia is incredibly powerful and everyone at the table is going to know it. Cheating out huge demon dragon angel, hereafter referred to as fatties, will scare your opponents. Since we're cheating so much mana, we can play some instant speed protection pieces to really screw up our opponents. We don't have access to counter spells, but we do have access to blink effects and effects predominantly in white that disappear our creature until the end of turn. So that got me thinking maybe we can lean into ETB effects. Can we build a Kaalia deck for really cheap, $50 or something? Technically we can, but it won't be very good. There are two problems. All the best fatties are on the pricier side. For some reason, these 3 tribes are a tad costly. Plus we're in 3 colors that aren't green, so we need a decent mana base and artifacts to take up the slack. How about $100? As of the date of this recording, you can get the whole shebang for under $100 on TCG Player, fiddling with the card optimizer and slapping in damaged and highly played cards. This number includes shipping, so it's super important in a Kaalia deck to have a full grip of cards. We're going to want full hands, so let's take a look at some draw effects. My old buddy Bloodgift Demon. Bloodgift Demon is 3 black for a creature demon with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Well, guess what, buddy? We're going to target ourselves so we can get some cards. Always good to remember that you can target an opponent if they're at 1 life, but this is a little bit of a corner case. Let's take a look at Burning Rune Demon, 4 black for a creature, Demon Berserker, 6/6 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. If you do reveal those cards, an opponent chooses one. Put the chosen card in your hand, the other into your graveyard, then shuffle. Make no mistake, this is card advantage. Just pick 2 that you want in the hand, or better yet, give them a really tough choice. Ragna and Krav or Vilus Broker of Blood. Oh, how about Shadric Silverquill, 3 white and a black for a legendary creature, Elder Dragon, 2/5, with flying and double strike. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player. So target player creates a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying, all good. Target player draws a card and loses 1 life, that's us. Target player puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature they control. So you have to see what's on the board. The 2/1 flyer probably shouldn't be a huge deal, and the +1 counters may not even be relevant at all if you're across the table from a Spellslinger deck. Skyline Desperate is 5 red for a creature dragon. It's a 5/5 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you're still the monarch, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. You may lose the monarch, but our win condition is combat, so I'd be real surprised if we don't get it back quick. Plus we may have some untapped flyers that can block incoming damage. Sanctuary Warden, 4 white for a creature, Angel Soldier. It's a 5/5 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you put 2 shield counters on it. Whenever Sanctuary Warden enters the battlefield or attacks, you can remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. If you do, draw a card and create a little citizen creature token. This is a bit of an unconventional draw card. I really like this card, it's a bit flexible, plus look at her sweet Art Deco halo. Oh, then we got Vilus Broker of Blood, 5 black for a legendary creature demon. It's an 8/8 with flying, so it also has black, pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. So I love this guy. Nothing more to say about it. He can refill your hand real quick. Oh, here comes the new Kaalia, Zenith Seeker, red, white, and a black for a legendary creature, human cleric. It's a 3/3 with flying and vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel card, a demon card, and or a dragon card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in the random order. In this deck, with about 35 creatures, I saw myself drawing 2 off of this when it triggered during playtesting. Inspiring Overseer, this thing's a house and limited. It's 2 and a white for a creature, Angel Cleric. It's a 2/1 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and draw a card. It's a fantastic common. It's a cool looking card with a little draw stable on. Alright, let's take a look at some ETB effects. So we have Angel of the Ruins, 5 white white for an artifact creature, Angel. It's a 5/7 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target artifacts or enchantments. It also has plane cycling for 2. The exile is 100% relevant. This can clear our opponent's value engines like Smothering Tithe and Rhystic Study. Bogardan Hellkite, 6 red for a creature, dragon, 5/5 with flash. It also has flying. When it enters the battlefield, deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. I like how this guy's just shooting a laser out of his face. It's basically what you do when you put him into the battlefield. This art is fantastic. This can be a finisher if we blink it enough, or can help us keep the board clear. Carder Doomscourge, 2 black and a red for a legendary creature, Demon Berserker. It's a 4/3. When it enters the battlefield until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able and attack a player other than you if able. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Not much to say about this guy other than that it's nice to help clear out the board. A lot of our protection pieces double as our blink effect, so let's take a look at Glorious Protector. It's 2 white for a creature, Angel Cleric, 3/4, has flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile any number of non-angel creatures you control until it leaves the battlefield. It has Foretell for 2 and a white. So this card basically saves our board in case there's a board wipe cast. You just cast this in response to the board wipe and choose all your non-angels. Kaalia is a human anyway, so we can save her. We also have Sarah's Emissary, 4 white for a creature. It's an angel, 7/7 with flying. As it enters the battlefield, choose a card type. You and creatures you control have protection from the chosen card type. This can be really tricky. You can give them protection from creatures, make combat very easy for us and a mess for our opponents, or we can choose instants to try to keep Kaalia safe. We want our stuff to stick, and we want as many of our protection pieces as possible to be in the form of our big beaters in our tribes. We also have Cosmic Intervention, 3 and a white for an instant. If a permanent you control would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn, exile it instead. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. It has Foretell for 1 and a white. This is only really good if our opponents aren't running exile effects. The decent part is that you can foretell it, so you only have to hold up minimal mana. Lae'zel's Acrobatics, 3 and a white for an instant. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically if you roll a d20 and if it's a 1 through 9, you exile all non-token creatures you control and return them to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. If it's 10 through 20, you do the same thing, but you have a little exile in between, so they hit the battlefield, then get exiled again and return at the end step. So this has an added exile if we get lucky. This is a really cool card, even if we whiff on that though. We have a couple others like Semester's End, 3 and a white for an instant, basically does the same thing. Very similar card that can save our big beefy board. Let's take a look at some possible synergy pieces. Warstorm Surge is 5 and a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. This seems pretty good. We're blinking big fatties so we can double dip the damage. Speaking of doubling, we have Ishin, 2 heavens is 1, red, white, and a black for a legendary creature, Human Samurai. It's a 3/4. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. I will put this in strictly based on Kaalia's trigger because that's what we're building into. Yeah man, this is a really fun deck. Kaalia's power is evident even in a budget deck. Goldfish it. Without interaction, which you will be facing, the board gets really busy with big creatures and the support cards really shine, especially when you can protect everything at instant speed. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This would be a great one to update. I'm sure there are cards I've missed, so tell me about them. This is going to be Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.